It'll seem like 30. Hello, everyone. Welcome to It's Civil. I am Sybil Wilkes, and I am so very pleased to be joined by two great guys today. One fellow you recognize, or maybe he's not. Oh, there he is. Hello, J. Anthony Brown.
What's up, Sybil later?
How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I am very good. I am here in Washington, D.C., and having an opportunity to be here at the CBC, the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation events of this week. And also very happy to welcome in Toray. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for having me.
It is so nice to see you, and thank you for coming on today. I wanted to talk to you about your new project.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about this. Now, it's called The Masters of the Game, and it debuts this week, right?
Yeah. Masters of the Game is a once-a-month show that airs on the Griot TV on the last Friday of every month at 8 p.m. And for the most part, I'm going to be in conversation with really interesting, important, inspiring Black people who are talking about their genius and how they made it to whatever level of brilliance and success they have. So we've talked already with Debbie Allen, Tyler Perry, Francis Tiafoe, Kenan Thompson from SNL, just talking about who you are and how brilliant you are. Doc Rivers from the Philadelphia 76ers, and how you acquired your brilliance, how you see the world, and hopefully people can say, oh, wow, like that brilliant, accomplished person thinks like this, approaches that like that. Let me take some advice from that or pass that advice on to somebody else who's trying to make their way up the mountain. So, we're trying to pass on wisdom and knowledge to people from some of the most interesting, intelligent people in our community.
So this is, if I may borrow from an expression or a term, this is Toray's master class with the masters.
Sure. I mean, we definitely think about it in terms of a master class and talking about people's mastery and talking about, the thing that you do best and how you look at it and how you approach it and what advice we can give to other people.
And so let me ask you this. What's the best advice you've ever received from someone that you consider a master or on your way out that's worked well for you in your career?
Wow, what an amazing question. The best advice that I have gotten. That is a tricky one.
Would you like? I like that. Thank you. I take that as a compliment from you.
Yeah, no, I mean, I ask people that on my
Right.
How would I answer that? I had to come back to that.
Okay,
I mean,
that's fair.
I have been, part of why I want to come back to that is that I have been fortunate to have several people who I look up to as mentors.
Sure.
And I want to dive into that for a second because a lot of younger people come to me and say, like, I want you to mentor me. And having mentors is really important, but that's not necessarily really the way to go about it to get people to mentor you. I feel tremendous pressure and like, I'm going to let you down if I agree to, and I don't even know what is the structure of this mentor-mentee relationship. What does that mean? Right? Like, we're a girlfriend and boyfriend. Like, we got to talk every day. We got to see each other, 3-4 times a week.
You meet my mama. Yeah.
Right. Mom, dad. Like, I know what that looks like. I don't know. But the mentor, and I think immediately about Greg Tate and Stanley Crouch and Nelson Ford, who were mentors to me when I was in my early 20s and just starting out as a writer. I never used that word. I would just call them, and I already created enough relationship that I had their number, but we were clearly not peers, right? I'm just call them and then just kind of listen. And for the most part, they would just talk and I would chime in occasionally, and I'm listening to how they think and how they approach things. And maybe they're telling me stories about how they dealt with, but I would not say I'm having this problem.
Right.
I'm just listening to that. Now, you can, I mean, like, people who are older love to share their experience and their knowledge. So if you just go to a person in your field or in the field you aspire to be in and just start asking them questions, they will be excited to share with you and
Right.
never use the big M word.
Right.
But I just keep ending up in your office, in your presence, asking you questions, or just listening to you talk about your thing, whatever you're really, masterful at. And, from that, you can create this mentor relationship. But this show, Master of the Game, sort of piggybacks on that notion, right?
Mhm.
Because I'm going to be asking these geniuses for their nuggets of wisdom and brilliance, and you guys can listen in as this sort of like trickles down.
It seems like we're going to be eavesdropping.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're having a nice conversation with a really interesting person, and you're there.
So, amongst the people, as you mentioned, Francis TFO, that the world fell in love with him, many for the first time in the U.S. Open.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm a huge tennis fan and avid player, so I have been watching him for years, and it's really interesting to see him really spark upward over the past several years.
Mhm.
We've known that he was one of the best players in America, but then he's just rocketed upward the last couple of years. And he plays with a tremendous amount of heart and
Wow, does he?
spirit. And I think the way he plays endears people to him because he plays with passion and grit and heart. And it like Coco Gauff. You're like, like I want you to win because I can see how hard you're working, and you have this amazing spirit that you bring to the court. There's a lot of really exciting young Black players in the game. So we're sad to see Serena go,
Of
but
course.
there will be other Black folks to put our attention on now that the queen is retired.
She's evolved. So, Toray, I love some of the people on your list that are going to be as a part of the series Masters of the Game, and as we mentioned, Francis TFO. I also believe that another master that a lot of people may have heard her name, but they don't really know what she does. Tell us about Jennifer King.
Jennifer King is the only African American woman on an NFL coaching roster. She's
How
the
cool is that?
running backs coach, for the Washington Commanders. We had a really interesting conversation with her. She had a really interesting life. She also talked a lot about being heard as a woman in a male-dominated space, and I found that notion really, really interesting.
Mhm.
And a moment where it can transport beyond coaching. I wanted to talk to her about things that any coach at a high school level, at a pro level, whatever, can listen to her and learn, as well as like any football fan could learn and get excited about it. But then for any woman who's in a male dominated space, and it doesn't even have to be as lopsided as the NFL.
Sure.
Your office where there's 2 of y'all and 8 men who are a part of the leadership group or whatever it is, that it's hard sometimes to get the men to listen to the women the way they listen to the other men. And
right.
I wanted Jennifer to talk about how she does it and how she overcomes that part of the challenge of the job. And, she was brilliant.
We're talking to the brilliant Toray. He has a new TV show. It's on the Griot channel, and it's going to be the last Friday, the Masters of the Game. You can see every last Friday of the month, and or streaming on the Griot app as well. From what I understand, J. Anthony Brown, Toray is also going to be interviewing your boss, Tyler Perry.
Mr. Perry.
Yeah,
we did that. Once you get a check, Toray, it's Mr. Perry.
Yeah, we did that a little while ago. He was fantastic. He
really is
really brilliant and really thoughtful. And
what did you learn about him you didn't know?
Well, the biggest thing that we talked about, we talk a lot about the impact of his mother and his father on him and on his work. He talked about Medea being a projection of his mother, but not realizing that until a decade into putting her on stage and on screen. But then, he talked a lot about the importance of ownership to where, and we all, I think all know the importance of ownership, but then he understood, if I go to the studio and I say I need $10 million to do X, this movie, let's say, they're going to say, great, but we need to own it. But if he would take a much smaller budget, then they would be willing to relinquish ownership. And ownership was more important to him than having a much larger budget. So through that, he's been able to create a lot of pieces that he owns. But at the same time, he had to learn to do it all very quickly.
Right.
So he produces, he creates, and he makes these films extremely quickly because of the budgets.
Yes.
And, it's interesting hearing him talk about being on other people's sets. He's like, why is this taking so long?
Right.
Well, Trey, I have to tell you, I'm doing a sitcom with him. It's called Assisted Living in the Movement that we have on that show compared to, I've been on other shows. It is totally different. And you end up, in my opinion, with the same results. It does not take a week to shoot a 30-minute show. It just doesn't. And Mr. Perry has really shown people that they can be done that way.
That's amazing.
So did he talk about his the script in the movie that he directed and produced for Netflix?
Jazzman Blues, yes, we talked about that. Really interesting piece. And I didn't fully understand it until I saw that it came out of him watching the last half of the piano lesson and then having a conversation with August Wilson. And then I was like, oh, okay, this does seem August Wilson-ish. So now I think I understand better, like what's going on here, what you were going for. But yeah, he had a really deep, short, but intimate conversation with August Wilson that very much inspired him. And he went home and wrote this. But he needed to wait a while. He wanted to do commercial things before this came out. So he waited a while, but it's a beautiful piece. It's different than what we have normally gotten from Tyler Perry. So it's really interesting.
I'm looking for it. I have to reinstall or resubscribe rather with Netflix because I canceled them a while ago. So I'm going to go back so I can see Tyler's piece.
You didn't watch the Dahmer bio?
You know what? I lived it in Chicago, right? I didn't need to. But while we're talking about that, what do you think about folks saying, I think it was, I forget who it was a rapper, said that we should be boycotting.
Lil Boosie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Lil Boosie said.
I mean, look, I can't join the boycott. I already finished it. I couldn't turn it away.
Too late.
You saw it? You saw the whole thing?
I watched the whole thing. I couldn't turn away.
I saw it too,
so creepy.
and I couldn't stop watching it.
Right.
There's one piece in there, and maybe you can help me with it, where Jeffrey Dahmer goes to Niecy Nash's house. I just don't believe that happened in terms of her saying she's getting these smells and how weird this guy is. I don't know if
they're next door neighbors.
Yeah.
I don't think it's unimaginable. I think it's perhaps very likely that he sort of, manipulated his way into her house and I mean, they live right next to each other and offered her some crazy sandwich. And I'm sitting there on the edge of my seat, like, girl, don't.
I'm sitting there yelling, don't eat that sandwich, girl. Right? Do not.
Right? You're like right on the lip of death. One bite and you're gone. But you knew, right? She's too smart.
Yeah, she was very smart.
On the game, right? Like, no, And, I mean, yes, I obviously I see Black people got murdered by Jeffrey Dahmer, but in this Dahmer piece, there's a lot of Black people who are highlighted and celebrated. And Niecy Nash's character, the person who's strong enough to finally stand up to Dahmer, get away, and get him arrested, is Black. There's a really beautiful portrayal, heartbreaking but beautiful portrayal of a deaf Black man I mean, Janet Mock is one of the big
Yeah.
writers in all of this.
Hmm.
So, I can't say I'm not going to watch it because Dahmer murdered Black people. There's this show spotlights a lot of great, courageous Black characters and Black actors. There's a great portrayal of Reverend Jackson. So, I'm. It's just too late for me anyway.
Well, I appreciate your chiming in on that. We are talking to the wonderful media personality and author and podcaster and you name it. Masters of the Game is his new television program. It'll kick off with tennis superstars we've mentioned, Frances Tiafoe, as well as the first ever Black female NFL coach, Jennifer King. Also, we mentioned Tyler Perry and the great, I absolutely adore her, Debbie Allen, and the Philadelphia 76ers head coach, Doc Rivers. Toray, I got to ask you, no mention of your new boss, Mr. Byron Allen. Will that be one of your future interviewees?
Perhaps. I mean, nobody knows the future, but Byron is a really fascinating person and an incredibly successful person. And it would be fascinating to include him in all this. And I'm sure that somebody somewhere is talking about when is the right time to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He really is an interesting, he's inspiring and truly a master in this arena. It is, I heard somebody talking about him the other day when he was a 17-year-old kid and writing jokes for other people and, standing on the set of Johnny Carson and things like that. What an amazing arc his life and career are right now.
Absolutely. I mean, I think about watching him on television at around, what was it, like 12:30, 1 a.m.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, absolutely, knew who he was. And now to be working for him in this amazing organization, it's quite an honor,
Yeah.
and it's quite exciting to work in a overwhelmingly Black space, in terms of the people I work with, in terms of the audience who is coming to us. And it just allows us to have a much richer conversation about us and what's going on with us when it's, for us, by us,
right.
all that.
Yeah. Yeah, we should bring that FUBU thing back again. Our guest today is Toray. He is known for years in the media as a writer, a host, and a contributor. And as well as let's see, I have author, podcaster, TV host, and Brooklynite. Is that the correct order?
Sure. Well, any order is fine, but yes, all of that. All of that.
Well, I look forward to seeing Masters of the Game, and I know J. Anthony Brown is a master in the comedy business. So if you consider him for one of your interviews, I think you would be fascinated by him. Not only for the comedy business, but he's quite an artist as well. Just throwing that in there, player. But I want to thank you so much for your time. I really am a big fan of yours. We have common friendships with Jackie Reed, is one of our fellow colleagues and friends. And so I thank you so much for your time. I'm so excited for this. I love the idea. And I look forward to all that you bring to us on the screen on the Griot channel.
Thank you, Sybil. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
This is the great Toray. And please check out his new TV show, Masters of the Game, every final Friday, the last Friday of every month. It's going to be on the Griot channel at 8 o'clock Eastern. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so hopefully you'll come back and join us again. We'd love to talk to you as this
I'd
goes
love
on.
to do that. Thank you so much, Sybil.
Thanks so much. It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
That is Toray and J. Anthony Brown. I wanted to talk to you a quick second, and we can talk about this because it's time for us to go into the What You Need to Know newsletter. But there's some things that he brought to mind that I want to ask you about as well
Okay.
as we get into topics and things like that. I know we got a lot of topics to talk about today.
Yeah, oh my God. Yes, yes, yes.
But let us go to the What You Need to Know newsletter. This is our newsletter that is Monday through Friday. It is absolutely free. The subscription is. Please go to SybilWilkes.com and sign up for it as we super serve the African American community with many of the topics.
Uh-huh.
And the ideas are that, things that we learned from Tom Joyner and how things that happen on the general, we get that in mainstream news and what have you, but how does it really affect Black people? And that's one of the things that Aprilette Russell, our new mental health and wellness contributor, she talks about the mental impact of dealing with infertility among Black women.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's pretty deep, but it's very well done. And talking about this in particular, Jay, the Black women deal in silence in so many ways
And
about
with pretty much everything,
infertility.
right?
Yeah. And especially when you think about the fact that we suffer from so many things like fibroid tumors and endometriosis, which I had, and I didn't even think about it as being infertility in the beginning. I just thought that this was a challenge that I would have to overcome if I was going to have children. Um, and placing that label of infertility on one makes it seem that much more difficult to handle for a lot of us.
What was it for you?
It wasn't. And like I said, because I didn't think that it was going to limit my having children. You know what I mean? Giving birth to them. I thought this is something, I thought my doctor would be able to clear up and then it came to the point where uh, you got to do something now or else. And I wasn't in a position for the or else or actually for the do something in terms of having children at that particular time. And so, that horse is out of the barn, but it just to hear other women talk about it. I mean, even when you think about John Legend's wife, Chrissy Teigen,
Isn't
and
she pregnant now, though?
she is pregnant.
Right.
But she had what she described initially as a miscarriage, and then hearing about what this actually was that her doctor had to perform was an abortion.
Wow.
And how this affected her going forward. This was their little baby that they named Jack, and it was quite sad as she was going through all of this, as you might imagine. But just recently, with all the discussions about abortions, she said it was not a miscarriage. What her doctor performed was probably a D&C, but it is considered to be a reproductive service in terms of abortions, and so she had to deal with that. And now she and John are pregnant again, and she will hopefully be delivering her third child.
The third child. Well, that's something as a male, a man will never understand the seriousness of women finding out they can have children. No more than men can understand women wanting to have an abortion. I don't think men should be, I mean, we've been over this over and over again.
Yeah.
There's no way that men should be making that decision for women. And because it's a very serious subject that men should not have any part of making a decision. That's pretty much everybody's opinion when it comes to, the Roe versus Wade, or even women having children. You just don't understand it being a man.
And as women, we may not understand from the men's perspective, why you don't see that we need to do this. And I'm not saying you. I'm just saying a man.
No, not me.
We've had this.
I don't need to do this no more. Okay. But it's so serious that it is the quote unquote part of relationships that whether people stay together or break up because of do you want to have children or you don't want to have children. People have broken up over it.
In Aprillette's article, she talks about the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention say about 20% of women of childbearing age who want to have children are not able to. The heartbreak of infertility affects women of all races, but in the Black community, it happens more than we know and more than we talk about. And Black women are twice as likely as white women to experience infertility. And she said one reason, of course, is fibroids. Those are the small, often benign tumors, but very problematic. And experts say as many as 80% of African American women have them.
Not to
80%.
mention a high percentage of African American women don't have the health care or don't achieve or don't, take
Yeah,
advantage of the health care that white women do.
that's
They
right.
don't.
That's right.
They
And
don't.
Black maternity mortality is also something of great concern. And if I may give a plug for our Tell Somebody Now PSA, that is one of the issues that we talk about, especially now that Roe versus Wade has been taken away in most of the states in this country, and majority of them anyway. We do have this decision that has to be made in many cases, and with Black women, and their doctors may have the ability to help them, but they don't have the legalities behind them. And oftentimes it's white men who are making the decision, the lawyers, the heads of the hospitals, who are saying, no, you can't do this because of the law now. And so there's a lot going into this, but take a look at Aprillette's article digging into the mental health impact of infertility among Black mothers. So please take a look at that. Jay, another article that I want to talk about, something we talked
Yes,
about.
we will be back shortly. Sybil is out. I'm blaming it on the hurricane.
Am I freezing? Am I freezing?
You were frozen.
Okay. Well, thanks for picking up the slack there. I do want to talk about the Jackson, Mississippi water situation in
Maybe it's the water situation. I don't know.
It is.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. I think we're both freezing here. I'm not sure.
No, I didn't freeze. I'm good.
No, for me, you did. So
okay.
I'm not sure what's going on here, but I am in a hotel. I don't have the normal setup, and
okay.
In Washington, D.C. for the CBC, if people are asking.
Explain what the CBC is for people who don't know.
It is the Congressional Black Caucus week. The members of the Congressional Black Caucus been in existence for now almost 60 years.
Once a year.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And
they do once a year.
September of each year. They have not had an in-person gathering for the last couple of years, of course, because of the pandemic, but folks are back now.
And if you go in the basement or wherever it is that they have, you can buy all kinds of stuff, okay?
At the convention center, right. Right. I do want to talk about the Jackson water troubles do remain. And thanks to the NAACP, this is what we talk about in our article. In the can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
The NAACP announced the filing of a complaint to investigate the state of Mississippi's mishandling of the water crisis. So the president and CEO, Derrick Johnson, issued a statement putting a spotlight on the racist funding policies of the state and the governor, Tate Reeves. And
as far as I'm concerned, Sybil, I think we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. It's not a mistake. It's not that it's it is totally deliberate of what they've been doing to Black communities
and that's exactly
sanitation. That's across the board. That's across the board, right?
That's exactly what President Johnson has said. And he says the NAACP will continue to push forward in the fight to ensure justice is served, these inequities are addressed, and that people of Jackson receive the clean drinking water that they deserve. And not only in terms of the city of Jackson, but the state of Mississippi, which has been derelict in their responsibilities, especially to the people of color. But
my question to you, Sybil, is why is this a complaint and not a lawsuit? What's the difference?
Well, I think they're starting the investigation, but the lawsuits have already started.
Uh-huh.
And this is a lawsuit that I don't necessarily agree with, but citizens of Jackson have filed a class action lawsuit against the mayor and other city officials, technicians, engineers regarding the water situation. I don't think I don't think a lawsuit is their answer amongst each other.
Hmm.
But I do think that a lawsuit against the state of Mississippi, against the governor of Mississippi, and those things that they have long denied to Black people in one of the poorest states. But when they have the money isn't being used for them.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, wait. So check this out. This is a part of the story, and this is where I want your opinion on this, because this involves NFL quarterback Brett Favre. You heard about this?
well, you know, I heard about Brett Favre taking money from poor people.
Exactly.
But here's the thing that most people don't understand. You gotta blame Brett Favre for the deed that he did,
And the former governor.
and the former governor. But it's almost as if when somebody comes up to you and says, "How would you like to get some extra money?" And this is probably what they said to Brett Favre. What do I have to do? You don't have to do nothing. To me, most people are going to take that deal across the board. Now, Brett Favre is also implemented in terms of saying, "Now, I'm not going to get in trouble for this." So when he does
the
that,
governor was saying that.
he
And
knows.
Brett Favre
He
kept
knows.
asking for money.
Yeah, he knows. So he knows. Yeah, but
He
it's just,
knows.
it's just the attitude of that. Everybody wants money, and who doesn't want free money where it looks like it's not attached to you? And $5 million is $5 million, and he should pay the cost for stealing money from poor people. You know what I mean? I mean,
And
really.
And well, one of the public officials has already been found guilty. He pleaded guilty to state and federal crimes last week. He was the head of the Mississippi's welfare agency. Welfare agency.
We're
What does
talking
that
a
mean
lot
to
of
you?
money too. We're not talking
Tens
1
of
billion.
millions, tens of
Yeah,
millions of dollars that were intended to help needy families in one of the poorest states in this country.
the absolute poorest. And
Yep.
that money. And here's the thing, Sybil, that money is gone.
Yep.
You can't retrieve some of that money. Brett Favre thought, well, if I pay them, it's like you rob a bank and you say, well, if I bring the money back, you're not going to press charges? And he knew what was going on, and he's guilty.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So the NAACP is on the case. This one official has been he has pleaded guilty and he will be sentenced in the future. But also Tate Reeves, the current governor, is being called into question for his rejection of funds from the Pandemic Rental Assistance Program that was designed to keep Mississippi residents who are facing evictions in their homes.
Well, I said this once, and we've said it over and over. If Black areas go down, which is what they want to happen, they end up coming in, selling that property, and putting up condos where the people who were living there before can't afford to move back in.
Yep.
That's city planning. That's what cities have been doing for years. And it's no different than going, well, we won't take the money. It'll go down. We'll go in and buy it up, and we'll build high rises for people who can't afford to live there. And we don't care where the poor people live. It's a plan. It's not by mistake.
Right.
It's a plan.
Right. You're absolutely right. I agree with you. And it's damn unfair. And can I just make a political statement here? This is why there are such fantastic people, namely Black people, who are running for governor of a number of states, including the state of Alabama. There's a Black woman who is running against Kay Ivey for governor of Alabama. Alabama, Jay. Just think about that.
Let's just hope some of these people win.
Yes.
How important it is for them to win, and how important it is for us as a people to get out and vote, even out with all the gerrymandering and the moving polls and hiding voting booths. And, you know, we just have to, just like somebody said the other day, there's no way they can elect Herschel Walker. It just cannot happen. and how important it would be for somebody, a black female, to win the state of Alabama.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And of course we know, I just took the t-shirt off before I started this podcast. Stacey Abrams running for governor of Georgia, and behind the current governor. But please get out and vote.
Please.
Please. So Jay, as we wrap up this newsletter conversation, just want to remind people the subscription is absolutely free. And Yolanda, bless her heart, when we were in an event last night, which I got to tell you about, I got to run over here and get this book. But I do want to tell people about this event we were at last night. But Yolanda was handing out our business cards with the QR code. Jay, we have a QR code.
That takes people.
Huh? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Big doings here at the What You Need to Know staff here. So thank you very much. And please go to SybilWilkes.com and subscribe. It is absolutely free. All right, Mr. Brown, let us talk about the trending topics. And we cannot start this conversation without talking about Hurricane Ian. It doesn't sound, we know.
We know an Ian.
We know an Ian. Ian Carter.
Ian Carter, who's not a destructive person.
Right. He's a creator.
Yeah. Creations take time.
And this Ian came in and in a matter of hours,
totally different.
Destroyed the state of Florida in many respects. And Jay, even as it has gone through Florida, it's regained its strength and become a hurricane again, and expected to hit South Carolina.
Right. Now here's the question, Sybil. Everybody that is told to move can't move.
Right.
That I get. I understand that. Where am I going to go? I can't move. What percentage of people you think, just by taking a guess, of people who can move, who have the wherewithal and the finances to hook their trailer up to a truck and move, but they don't?
Are we talking about somebody in particular?
No, they moved. I know.
Okay.
He moved. He moved quickly. Yeah.
First of all, let me just say this. Ian Carter that we referenced before is the man who created all the costumes on the Tom Joyner Fantastic Voyage, all of the theme nights, all of the Mardi Gras costumes and what have you.
He did it all.
Ian did it all.
And it would come very neatly boxed.
Oh my gosh. and it was so voluminous that Ian had to come with the costumes in order to parcel it all out on each night.
Because sometimes we didn't know how to put stuff on.
Right. And so Ian eventually would come on the cruise. Many of you may have met him, but every day he would spend time, and the costumes had their own cabin.
Yes, yeah. And Tom has all of those costumes right now. Yes, he has every last one of them. Yes.
Do you think we'll ever see those costumes?
No, we'll never see them again. No.
Okay. All right.
But unlike this Ian the hurricane.
Okay. So it is forecast to hit South Carolina, where a hurricane warning has already been issued for the entire coastal region of South Carolina. But it's also going up towards past Georgia, right?
Yes.
And then South Carolina in the wake of its destruction in Florida. Ian Center was located about 240 miles south of Charleston, South Carolina, just a couple of hours ago. And it was moving northeast at about 10 miles an hour and sustained winds of 75. So that categorizes it as a category 1.
Well, as much as you just say, well, it's not a 3 and it's not a 2 or 1. Mm-hmm. It's still very powerful,
right?
And the water rising and stuff can still do a lot of damage, Right. So
let me just also say, this broke my heart. Fort Myers, Florida.
Whoa!
Is where I had my first radio job. Then went across the river to Cape Coral. So you may have heard the names of those two cities over the last couple of days. Fort Myers is where Ian made landfall. And it was a great time and a great opportunity to learn a lot about this business, and in a town very small. I used to joke that this was a town where people went to finalize their wills because it was an older community. It has gotten much younger demographically, but it was a great time, and it was a simpler time when I lived there. It has grown, 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 grown.
How about the
Um,
radio station you worked on? Is it still there?
it is still there. And I saw, and it was a radio television station, it was a CBS affiliate.
Uh-huh.
And I saw footage from Wink, WINK, these last couple of days. And but to see the destruction that
Really?
this has wrought is just
Yeah.
it was painful to watch. But I do know that there are some really great people and strong people, and that the Fort Myers Cape Coral area will come back stronger than others. There's a lot of destruction though, but and the really interesting thing, and then I said in my post on Instagram, is that for the years that I was there, hurricanes never made it to Fort Myers. They always managed
How
to
long were
go.
you there, Sybil?
I was there for a couple of years before I moved to Ocala in North and in Central Florida, and then to Charlotte. So
Well,
I was in Ocala for like a cup of
so
coffee.
how many radio stations have you worked at? If you had, I mean, sure you know.
One, two, three, four, five before Tom Joyner.
5 before Tom Jones?
Hmm. And I was a bit of a gypsy at that time, but then once I met Tom, and he started the syndicated show in '94, I never worked for anybody else until now. I'm working for myself.
Working for yourself, but that's a good deal. That's a
Yeah,
good
it is. And thankful for those that made this possible. But yeah, if you ever have an opportunity to help those communities, Deion Sanders is from Fort Myers,
Oh,
Florida.
he is. I did not
Yeah,
know.
yeah. He was a big star, a high school football star when I was there. And so please, if you can, wherever it is, help these people because
The only man in history within a week or either a week or a month to hit a home run and score a touchdown.
that's right. That's
The
absolutely
only guy.
right. Yep, that's him. That is the multi-talented and multi-sport honored Deion Sanders, and now head coach of the
And
Jackson
the way
University
he causing
football team.
ripples in the sports field is just amazing. And
Yeah,
it's great. Overdue too, Sybil.
yeah,
Well over.
absolutely, absolutely. And there's talk about him moving on to bigger schools. So I would love to see him take Jackson State all the way to the top. And
That would be great. That would
yeah, yeah. Speaking of which, we are going to be at a classic game on Saturday, and that is the State Fair Classic. The what you need to know news crew. All of us are going to be there. The youngins, Coy and Cameron and Quinn and Aprilette. You'll meet Yolanda and Chica and Cherie and Andrea and all the folks that put the newsletter together and play a part in our daily.
So
In
you're
our
going to
day-to-day.
the game or you're going to specialize in tailgating? What are you
No, we are going to be there before
Uh-huh.
and during the game. And we're also going to be there with our friends from the American Heart Association, as well as Black Voters Matter. So please find us. We'll be outside the game.
That's going to
And
be so cool.
oh,
That's going to
yeah.
be. If you've never
And
been
you've
to,
done that. You've done that. As
yeah,
a matter of fact, you and Tom not only did it, you guys played in the band.
we play. Somebody came up with the idea, maybe it was Tom, that we wanted to march in with the band and hold the tubas. Well, we didn't
Woo,
realize how heavy those.
woo. Boy, oh boy.
We were so out of breath, Sybil.
Oh my God. Oh my God, Jay. That was a sight to see.
That was classic.
And you guys were a bit there was a lot more of you guys
Yes,
then as opposed to now,
yes.
right?
Yeah, you mean we were heavier?
Yeah, I do. That's exactly what I mean. That's exactly what I mean. Jay, before we get too lost in the weeds here, we do have to send our condolences to the family of the rapper Coolio,
Yes.
who passed away at the age of 59. He went to visit a friend according
to
to
the
the
restroom.
reports. Went to the restroom, and then the friend said he went to check on him and found him unconscious. And
Wow.
they came, paramedics came, tried to revive him, and were unsuccessful.
Gangsters Rap.
Gangsters Paradise.
No, I had Gangsters Paradise. I was confused that it was D'Angelo, but it's
Oh, no, Coolio,
yeah,
right?
Coolio.
Yeah. Did you ever meet Coolio?
Yes. I tell you what, remember we would go to the hotel in DC? What was the name of that hotel Tom would put up?
The Mayflower.
The Mayflower. Well,
Mhm.
there's like a real nice shopping store next to it. And I saw him in there. And
Really?
Yeah, he was in there.
Oh, nice,
Yeah.
nice. Well,
And
this
then he
is,
did the Arsenio Hall show. So
of course, when you were there, yeah. They just a really nice guy. The last time I saw him
really,
was just a couple of weeks ago, and he was on Jimmy Kimmel's show and performing in a bit that Jimmy has, and it's just a really sad loss.
sad.
59 years old. He
59.
suffered from asthma for much
Ooh.
of his life, from what I understand, and so he was a spokesperson. I don't know if this was connected to it, but just too soon. Just absolutely too soon.
You're absolutely right.
Okay, here's your chance. Marjorie Taylor Greene's husband has filed for divorce, saying that the marriage is irretrievably broken.
Which it has become a Jeopardy question.
Is that right?
Yes. So you'll pick Marjorie. You'll pick Jeopardy for 200. Who said I'm sick of her ass too?
That would be Marjorie Taylor Greene's husband who was filed for divorce.
It couldn't happen to a meaner person, really.
Oh my gosh!
Yes.
How crazy is this?
It's what a slap in the face it is, where you speak all this American pie and all this. We're so humble and family values.
Right.
And your husband is like, I can't take this no more.
I can't.
Because it's got to be worse at home than it is.
than what we see in the House of Representatives.
And in all due respect, she's a doable white woman. Don't get me wrong.
No. Get thee away. No way.
You can't. You have to leave the politics out. The politics stays out, but she's.
Oh,
you
would take a dip into that.
If I was given a pool pass, hell yeah.
No, you get no pool pass. Not for that. So Marjorie Taylor Greene is the first-term U.S. Congresswoman from Georgia, the one who has just been a thorn in Democrat sides and a Donald Trump backer from the very beginning, even before they took office in 2021. Her husband, Perry Greene, filed
How long have they been married, Sybil?
27 years.
They have kids?
They have 3 children, all over the age of 18.
Oh, yeah. He put his time in.
Yeah.
He's good.
Yeah. Well, they have separated before. Apparently, this isn't the first time. But this time he says it's irretrievably broken, and they've been married since 1995.
Wow. What about I can't think of her name right now, whose husband talks bad about Trump all the time, because I've heard they've been having trouble too.
The former insider
spokesperson for Trump.
Yeah.
What is her name?
Oh, I can see her now.
I can see her face. Right.
Cruella.
No,
it's what she reminds me of.
Yeah.
But her husband is often seen on cable television. Yeah,
talking about Trump,
talking bad about him. Oh God, somebody.
And like I said, that's got to be something that spills over into the
Carrie Ann. No, it's not Carrie Ann. Thank
Conway,
you, Kellyanne Conway. Thank you. So no word on them, but you know who is getting a divorce is Jeff Bezos' ex-wife.
She wasn't married that long, Sybil.
I know her second marriage. She and her chemistry teacher husband are getting a divorce, and hopefully there's a prenup on that one.
Yeah. Well,
because
Jeff Bezos was like, "Hey, just take the money and go. You know,
yeah,
I'm gonna be fine."
yeah.
And I always tell her,
And she got, what was it, $35 gazillion?
"Yeah, she's
Yeah,
okay. Yeah."
yeah. Mackenzie Scott is her name, and they didn't have any children. As a matter of fact, she met him because he was a teacher at her kids' school.
Oh, and while we're talking, you got to talk about Keenan
Yes.
Zibble.
Yes. Keenan's ex-wife is dating Chris Redd. Keenan Thompson of Saturday Night Live divorced his wife, and she's now dating Chris Redd,
She
who
went
was
from
Keenan's former co-star on Saturday
yes,
Night
she
Live.
went from the not so funny to the not so funnier. So
Wow. Wow. I'm a fan of both, so I can't speak to that. But she said, but here's the thing. Every news story now is she's never been happier. I'm like,
yeah.
okay.
And I'm thinking Keenan's saying the same damn thing.
All right, before we start entertainment, I want to get this. Hang on one second. Yeah, here we go. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Okay, so we're going to talk. Chica, I don't know if you were able to get that video.
Oh, the one I.
Yes.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yes, I don't know. Chica had some time constraints because we had to download it and things like that. So, Yolanda, if you could let me know if Chica was able to do the video that Jay sent us. But I do want to talk about this. This was an event we went to last night. It's called the We See You Awards International, celebrating Black women changing the world. It was so wonderful.
Did you guys win an award?
No, we went to support our friend Latasha Brown, who was one of the honorees. Latasha is a co-founder of the Black Voters Matter, along with Cliff. And so so Latasha Brown was, and she was there, but she was not able to attend, but she was honored in absentia. And the young woman who picked up the award for her was absolutely delightful.
Oh, okay.
And spoke about all the wonderful attributes that Latasha has had for many years. This organization of women, I want to tell you about, this is President Barbara Perkins, and this organization has been around for many years, but they are endeavoring, it's International Black Women's Public Policy Institute.
Wow.
And they have these awards, the We See You Awards, and they absolutely are just. It was a very positive and uplifting evening.
DC? This is in
This
DC?
is in Washington, D.C.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
we went there last night after we could not find our way in the Capitol building to go to the town hall for the Divine Nine. When I tell you, I can't even say that, but I don't know how people function when there's no signage. And they tell you to go and make a right and go down 17 flights of stairs and you can't miss it.
Well, I mean, it's equal to living in LA, and it takes you 10 years for me, which is north, south, east, and west, because they don't tell you streets.
Right. Yeah.
It goes south on La Brea or south on Sepulveda, and you go, well, where am I? I don't know where the hell I'm at. So, yeah.
But Jay, you also live in a city now where every
is
street
Peachtree.
And in Washington, D.C., everything is round. Everybody goes in a circle.
Yeah. Well, here's what I heard. History. You always say you want to laugh, you want to learn something.
Mm-hmm.
One of the reasons that D.C. was set up with so many one-way streets was to stop attacks from the Capitol. But we saw the Proud Boys had no problem.
They didn't have a problem. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Jay, what we had hoped to have tonight was your theme song that you have created for your tour, the comedy tour with Myra and George Wallace. We were not able to get that. We will have
sing it.
Okay. But let me just ask you also, as you sing it, to also go ahead and do that first, and then I'll make my request.
Okay, let me hear your request first.
No, go sing.
Okay, the song is a very simple song, and there's this app online that I got from Ralph Hawkins Jr., where you can buy legitimate beats. Yeah, and once you buy them, you own them. So I bought this beat. It's in the key of C. I don't have the music. I wish you would have told me I could have played it, but it's very simple. Don't you know that it's time for the George Wallace, Myra J. and J. breakfast show? Mm-mm-mm. Don't you know? Oh, don't you know that it's time for the George Wallace, Myra J. and J. breakfast show? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Don't you know? Yeah, we'll be talking about one another, but we really like sister and brother. Mama Joe's gonna fill the room. We've been doing it for many moons. That's the song. And then it repeats.
And then Jay was going to play his
I was
harmonica.
going to play my harmonica, but George Wallace thought it might be smart for him to come in off key. I don't know what key that was he had.
And Jay also gives camera directions to Myra J as he's doing it. It has to be shown this way because
Yes.
you see, because it's vertical, and Jay says horizontal, and then Jay goes like this, in the camera. It's great. It's really great. It's fun.
I'm gonna send it to you, and you can post it. And I'm gonna
Okay. Okay.
With the music.
So my request is for you to do a theme song for our podcast.
You got it.
Okay. All right,
So
Jay and I.
It's what else you need to know.
What else you need to know?
No problem.
Yep.
Consider it done.
Jay is one of our regulars on the podcast, and we have a lot of fun.
I think the podcast is really, really loose. Is how
very. I get to say stuff that I don't.
Yeah,
say.
I think you said ass last week.
I think I did say the A word. I think I did. So it's a lot of fun, and I look forward to what you come up with for us as well. Okay. All right. It's a lot of fun. As I said. All right. As we close, once again, I just want to thank these wonderful ladies for the We See You Awards. And
did you get a shout out there? Did they give you a shout out?
No. I did. I was recognized, but didn't get a shout out.
You were recognized in the audience? Well,
that's a shout people, out, sitting at my table. Yeah. And there were some great people who listened to the show. And so I want to thank Sheila Eldridge as well, who the wonderful Sheila Eldridge, who was the chairperson for this particular event. It was really great. And
that's
so
cool.
Thanks for that. Before we go, I'd like to share Yogi's Jewels, our daily inspiration. Being nice in difficult situations shows strong character, J. Anthony Brown. So
you know what
nice.
I like about Yogi's Jewels? They all are pertaining to marriage.
You think so?
Well, that one is.
Because I'm not married, and I'm a brash single woman.
When I talk to you about something that's related to marriage, go with me on this, okay? Just
I trust you. I have to trust you on this. Okay. When is your podcast? Yolanda, if I'm not mistaken, the podcast with Jay goes up every Wednesday?
Yes.
I think
every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
And it can be downloaded all on everywhere you download podcasts.
Right. Thank you. And so wherever your fine podcast can, what else you need to know is what it's called. And J. Anthony Brown's podcast.
You got to do it like that.
Okay.
What else?
It's sort of like Howard Stern, WNBC, right? Thank you, my friend. Jay, where are you going to be this weekend?
I'm going to be in St. Thomas, doing a show in St. Thomas. Yeah.
You sure it's St. Thomas?
DC Young Fly?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, he's a big star.
Yeah.
He's and I've never worked with him before, but I know him. So they shot a movie at my club, and he was in it, and that's
there you go. All
He's a
right.
cool guy. Yeah,
And
I'm
so
happy.
are you. So that's going to be a fun time. St.
Yeah.
Thomas, here come J. Anthony Brown.
Yeah, and it
Ooh.
is St. Thomas. Okay, I know what
Okay.
you.
Okay. And there's no better fun to be had than on St. Thomas. Trust and believe. All right, everybody. Thanks so much. Thanks to everyone here. It's been so kind to us as we are here at the CBC. Look forward to more fun and interesting events going on. And we will see you all again soon. Take care. Aloha.